It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to inspire, our mission is to empower, and our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the hardworking entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this particular episode, we have the one and only Mark Krajnik. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
Hey, I got it right. Who's here today? He'll be talking about performance mindset and a couple of other cool things. But first, let me say hello to Mark. What's going on, Mark? How are you?
Shay, your energy and your positivity is contagious. Thanks for the invitation to be on your show. I'm doing very well.
Thanks for being here, man. And before we get started, they're looking at the title. They're saying performance mindset. I'll say it there. They're looking you up, some of them obviously, and reading your bio. But take a moment if you can and break down those two words before we get started. Performance means different things to different people. And mindset these days, it's like all over the place. Everybody says mindset. So they can bring them present with you, kind of frame the conversation if you can.
Yeah. So Performance Mindset Associates, I created this around PMA, right? Performance Mindset Associates is the company, but positive mental attitude, right? So the PMA, the performance mindset, is really how you look at your job, your role, your life, and how you attack it. So the idea is I had 3 decades, and that's a long time, but still going strong, of success, MCM, right? Making cash money, and failure, which is lessons learned around talent leadership. Okay, so that's kind of where I've spent my entire career. What do I do at Performance Mindset Associates is around human capital consulting. So if you think about your organization, there's people, process, and culture, and you look at risks or how to build a plan to close gaps to optimize your operations, right? Those kind of things. So that's kind of that performance mindset at work. Then simplifying talent management processes, looking at your performance management, looking at change management. Maybe you have a new process or a new way of doing business that you need to implement. Employee engagement, that's one of the really key strategies that we implement and will help you work on. Leadership development, and that leads to succession planning, right? And then kind of from that consulting piece, we go into one-on-one business coaching or executive coaching with my team of experts globally, as well as the mastermind mentoring club forums. So this is putting together leaders from different backgrounds. So the idea is we learn from each other and we teach each other so that we're better tomorrow than we are today. So that kind of gives you kind of that performance mindset, what it's about. And there's specific models that we use and other applications of this, but you're looking at constantly improving your performance and keeping that focus in mind of having that positive mental attitude.
Now, you can't just leave us hanging there and say there's some very specific models that you use and not give us you can't leave us there, man. You got to pull back the big black curtain a little bit and let us peek behind there. So if you don't mind, can you step and kind of share a little bit about, what are some of the models that you use, or maybe 1 or 2 or 3 you can share here now with the audience to give us an idea of what you're talking about?
Yeah, so I've created and proven 5 talent management models to drive performance, execution, resilience, teamwork, leadership, right? Those are the areas that we focus on. And so the first one is real goal achievement. So it allows you to complete the journey through your goal achievement versus just the act of setting goals. And we all have heard the term SMART goals. I don't even know, Shay, you know what SMART stands for, not to put you on the spot, but it's specific, visual, achievable, relevant, time bound. Yeah, achievable, relevant, time bound.
That's what it is. Okay.
It's confusing, and it doesn't have the keys to the completion of the journey or the achievement of the goal. So we've created the real goal achievement model. The second one is a wisdom model. And I work in acronyms, so you'll get used to that as we go on. But this captures candidate motivations during the interview process so that you can do two things. One, prep your hiring manager and team to attract them around what's driving them, motivating them, what they want in their career. And two, help close that candidate in that recruiting cycle, that hiring process, to give them what they need in their career as a next step. And it really does make a great marriage. The next one, and we talk about exit interviews, right? We've gone through a large downsizing recently, but the stay interview is a newer term, maybe last several years. But we have a model that STAY stands for four specific things that you do quarterly with each person on your team as a leader to drive retention awareness. And then finally, the We Build leadership development model. And We Build is 7 areas around leadership that enhances your leadership skills, because we're all leaders. Doesn't matter our title, doesn't matter what lot in life, individual contributor, we're a director, we're a VP, we're all leaders. And so we lead by example, but using this model, it enhances your awareness around leadership. So those are 5 models that we've worked on that are coming in 24. And I think those are some key talent management takeaways that everybody can use to enhance their current teams.
And as you were talking about the takeaways, I was thinking about the entrepreneur that's out there, maybe the dualpreneur, that they have a role at the office, but they're also bringing on, let's call them 1099. Some of them make an employee hire, by the way, and they might be thinking to themselves, "Wow, okay, if this guy is the guru Shay, and he's talking about not only positive mental aspect but also performance." What is his takeaway? What are a few things that he would share that leaders can become better leaders? Maybe he has 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 or 10 tips that leaders can become better leaders. So I'm a leader, but I'm only as good as the people that are around me. So I guess it's a 2-part question. Number one, what are some leader characteristics or traits that someone can do for themselves so they can improve themselves? We're a leader of one before we're a leader of many. And then maybe a few traits that they could use to help others around them be better.
Yeah, and I love this because it kind of sets up what I call behavioral traits, or aspects that you bring every day, right? So the first is professionalism, and that's respecting others, but also respecting others' ideas. So you're not in a meeting rolling your eyes, oh, this guy again, or that. It's very respectful in the way you deal with things. It's not what you wear, it's how you act, the professionalism. You constantly bring high integrity, high EQ, right? Your emotional quotient, and no DQ. Do you know what DQ is, Shay?
Emotional intelligence?
No, DQ.
Oh, DQ. Oh, no, I don't. Tell me.
I made it up, so I was hoping you didn't.
No, I didn't. I thought I said maybe you meant to say IQ. Maybe I heard IQ. No, DQ. Tell us, what is DQ?
What's your drama quotient? All right. So you're one of 3. You create drama, meaning you focus on OPB, other people's business, versus what you're supposed to be doing. Number 2 is you enhance drama. And that means that you lean in to the gossip and spreading rumors and talking about people behind their back. Or number 3 is you avoid drama and you focus on the task at hand. Hint, choose number 3. But keep your DQ as low as possible to protect your time. So that's under that first professionalism part of being a leader. The second is collaborative, and this is sharing knowledge, skills, and expertise. To build a winning team, to lead a winning team, you have to be collaborative, not cooperative, not competitive, but collaborative. I think that's critical. So then I'm going to lead you into the third one, which I said you're not going to be, but you need to be competitive. And what I mean by that is a collaborative mindset is the top of the pyramid, people that work together for a common vision or goal. But you need to be competitive, have that inner drive, the desire to win and compete and always do your best, even on the bad days. Okay. The fourth one is accountability. And a lot of times we have what I term as the blame tree, right? Where you have envy and jealousy and all the negative emotions that come in and out of your life, and depending on the environment, work environment you're in. But the idea is that you take accountability for your own words and actions, and you own your role. The next thing for a leader, I think fun, engaging. You talk a lot about celebrating successes and celebrating together. You have to have fun, enjoy what you do and who you do it with, right? I think I love levity, but I think having fun is critical. So those are the top five. I have a handful of others that could help everybody. I think, especially if you're on a team, being inclusionary and having that inclusion mindset where you're open minded to new ideas, new ways of thinking, new backgrounds and experiences, and you listen proactively when others share their ideas, right? So you're engaged, you're there. The next one is transparency, and I've worked in a lot of cloak and dagger corporate office settings where transparency didn't exist, and it's frustrating because the trust wanes. It's not a healthy environment. So be transparent is open, honest, and timely feedback and communication that builds trust and confidence. The next one is consistency. And consistency is in your words, your actions, your work ethic, and your results. So you're consistently successful. I can tell you, success is mundane. You have things that work for you over and over and over again. But being consistent is you understand the expectations and you strive to under promise, over deliver. And then the last two that I'll leave you with on this is really motivational, meaning you have to understand if you're internally or externally motivated and play to that. If you like the gift cards and the travel and time off, then set something up like that. If you're internally motivated, then you want to be on top of the leaderboard. You're driven, you want to be number one. So understand what motivates you and put yourself in a path to be engaged daily in that area. And the final one is challenge, right? Be challenged, having stretch responsibilities, having continuous learning mindset to grow, learn new things, and apply those so that your best days are ahead of you.
As you was talking, you gave us kind of like a master class there on a number of different things that we can do. So thank you so much. And the question has to be, who is this Mark guy that's talking? Who is this Mark as a person? I mean, we're getting to kind of know a little bit about Mark and how he's helping inside of corporations, how he's helping leaders be better leaders, how he's helping us also onboard talent. But who is this person that's speaking right now? So I guess it's a two-part question. Number one, we'll slow down for a moment, then we'll speed back up. Who is Mark? And then what was a defining moment in your backstory that led you on the path that you're on now?
Okay, let's slow it down a minute. I do talk fast. So, growing up, I had very supportive parents that got me involved in sports at a very young age. So, I spent my entire life, I was playing football and other sports at age 6, at first grade. I was a coach in high school. I lived vicariously through both of my daughters. I just see on the wall back here throughout their lacrosse experience in high school. I played softball, baseball, golf at a high level and very competitive for 25 years after college. So throughout my sports career is where I had the foundation built for many of my life lessons and really what you can use to become an entrepreneur or to help you in business develop your performance mindset. So, quick story. I'm going to bring 7 key attributes into focus. I think in linear terms. So there are 7 things that are going to end here, but also acronyms as well. So the 7 attributes at the end of this quick story are going to be to help you in your business life if you can perform all 7 of these on a daily basis. So back in 1986, I was the best 2-minute drill quarterback in the nation, playing for Occidental College in Los Angeles. Okay. And the reason I can say that, Shay, with confidence is that our offense scored 100% of the time when we were in our 2-minute offense drill. Okay. That means,
Wow.
if for those of you that don't play football or don't watch football, that means that you have 2 minutes or less to score before the half or the end of the game occurs. So you have a time constraint, right? You need to score before the clock runs out. So the time's against you. You have 11 other people on the field that are trying to prevent you from achieving your goal. And some of them actually want to hurt you. So you need to call several plays in advance. you need to, just in case you don't stop the clock, you don't throw an incomplete pass or you don't get out of bounds, you have to stop the clock, right? You must be prepared. It's critical that you execute under pressure. You've got people around you, people yelling, fans out there screaming, all that kind of stuff. The goal is to score points before the time expires at the half or end of the game. So lessons learned from that experience that can help all of you. It taught me how to lead by example. So the spotlight's on you. It's your time to shine, right? The field general, you got to take control. You touch the ball on every play. The next one is really how truly important preparation is in your success. So you run the same plays over and over and over again in practice until you get it right. So it's kind of mundane, it's monotonous, but by doing that, you have muscle memory. You remember. It brings you to the execution piece. But one of my favorite quotes, I use this a lot, is Paul Bear Bryant. From 61 to 79, he won 6 national championships at the University of Alabama. My daughter's a Gator, so go Gators, right? So she's a double Gator. But this quote always stuck with me. It's not the will to win, but the will to prepare to win that makes all the difference, right? And this is a national championship coach for 6 times. So when I hear that, are you willing to do what it takes to prepare to win? Everybody wants to win. I want the prize. Are you willing to do what it takes to win? So that preparation is critical. Showing poise, right? So under pressure, you stay calm. You lead by example, but it brings you in the business world to having high emotional intelligence, high EQ. Execution is the next one. You perform when the lights are on. And that brought on a focus on delivering results. Teamwork is next. Everybody has their own individual jobs, projects, whatever they are in the business world, and you function together for the same goal or vision. So teamwork is imperative. People pick up slack. You can delegate things that you're not good at or don't know enough about to other people that do, etc. So teamwork is critical. Then resilience, and I think this is probably one of the most important ones. You have a picture behind you there. You just keep going. When you get knocked down, or in this case, tackled, right? You dust yourself off, you get back up, and you try again, right? So you're not going to win every time. You're not going to achieve the first down or the touchdown on every play, but you keep moving forward. And the final thought, the 7th one, is the TGIM attitude, right? We all talk about TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. I have a spirit of libation in my hand, and I'm having a good time with friends and family on the weekend. But TGIM attitude is, thank God it's Monday. And people are like, what are you talking about? Monday? That sucks. Monday's horrible. No. Monday's the greatest day and the greatest gift you have, because you can develop new relationships. You can enhance existing relationships. You can make a positive impact on other people's lives. So that TGIM attitude is being positive every day in every situation, even in the face of adversity.
As you was talking and going through that, thanks for sharing. We're wondering, God, this guy is, flawless in the 2-minute drill. Shay, has this guy ever had a setback? I mean, it leads us to a perfect segment we have here called Today is My January 1st, by the way. And for those folks that know what I'm about to do, you can go and say those magic words. I know you wait to every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to say it. You can say it now. Today is my January 1st. Doesn't that feel good? And for all our new folks, welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show family. We're glad you're here, by the way. Today is our January 1st is our personal mantra. It represents a do-over. It represents a fresh start. It means the past, no matter how great or how dark and gloomy it is, the past no longer equals the future. So my question for Mark on the other side as he's listening, because we're like, wow, this guy is undefeated. We're one in 2 things. Number one, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? And number 2, what was one of the setbacks you had, if you had any, man, that you had to bounce back from?
Yeah, plenty. And so I don't look at failure as the end. I look at it as lesson learned and pick up and keep going. But my January 1st moment took place not too long ago. It was actually in the Q1 or Q2 of 2020, at the beginning of this COVID epidemic, or pandemic, I should say. I was a senior leader at Amazon, and at the end of the story, I'm going to give you the 5 takeaways that I learned through this process. But my challenge story kind of begins with my lack of awareness, communication skills, listening ability, things of those nature. So learn to choose your battles wisely, especially in an office setting. I tended to speak more than I listened, Shay, and ask forgiveness rather than permission often. And my former definition of listening was waiting to talk, right? I'm thinking 3 steps ahead of you. Uh, Instead of choosing to be present, I'm thinking of what I'm going to have for dinner on Saturday night already. The idea is that I was always multitasking in my head. I never turned my brain off. And I often shared way more information than is necessary, that TMI syndrome, right? So my challenge story kind of actually led me to finding the perfect role for me at Amazon Web Services, AWS, over the past 2 years that led to my January 1st passion. So just to give you a high level story, I led a 25-person team at Amazon in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I was a senior manager. And we safely hired, get this, over 41,000 people in 23 months. 19 of those months took place during the global pandemic. So you can imagine, chaos, right? Just people coming every day, 7 days a week, by the way. Several of my team members actually had high risk health issues, diabetes, Hodgkin's lymphoma as a kid, things of those natures that the coronavirus was attacking. So they were very high risk during this very scary time. So my number one focus had to be on the health and safety of both my team and the candidates that came in, because I was the leader. I was the one, running the show, if you will. So what I did was, first I discovered that the tellers have these Lexan barriers in front of them at a bank. The idea is that keeps the germs and people breathing on each other away. So I found a local vendor in the Charlotte area that manufactured and distributed Lexan barriers that I gave to my team, and they put them on their door desks at work, and I gave them 24-inch portable ones to take to the offsite venues at hotels, so that they had that constant barrier between them and the candidates, right? So that was the kind of first step. That alleviated some of their fears, some of the risk of getting sick, some of the stress at that time. But I didn't stop there, right? I discovered another safety measure, and I used that. Every time you walk into an Amazon warehouse back in those times for about 3 years, you had to go through a temp check system where there was someone behind a barrier, there was cameras, and it gave you your accurate temperature. They weren't in the recruiting office, which was adjacent to the large warehouse, but we weren't using them as the staffing team, as the recruiting team. So it was one of those aha moments where I asked the safety manager inside the building next to us, can we have that set up in our office? Because we have hundreds of candidates coming in daily. And if one of them's sick, then we all get sick. So I want to make sure that we stayed at arm's length and we can do everything in our power to use the PPE that we were given to make sure we stayed safe. And I mentioned I tend to ask forgiveness versus permission. It's in my scope. So on a call, and we have this Amazon principle that's called have backbone, disagree, and commit. Okay. And basically what that means is you stand up for what you believe in, but whatever the team decides, you have to agree with, right, and commit to. So on a weekly leadership call, we had leaders in the entire East Coast in Canada on this call. And I was so excited. I'm very, extroverted and passionate. I was so excited to share my idea, how I proactively and use my safety conscientiousness to bring forth this temp check unit into my lobby to save and protect my entire team and all the candidates around us. And there was just silence, crickets. Nobody said a word. After the call, my skill level leader called me, and he told me that legal had restricted the use of temp check devices and cameras for candidates that weren't hired yet because it was considered a condition of employment. And they asked me to immediately remove this. Even though I disagreed, I still committed, right? But it was a difficult message to share with my team that had high risk situations in several cases. Here's the funny takeaway, Shay. 6 months later, and I'm going to talk about my new role in a second here, but when I left the role, the pandemic wore on, the same leaders, right, made the decision for their safety and the safety of the candidates to temp check everybody come into buildings. Okay, so my passion got kind of in the way of following a process. I fought an uphill battle. It made me look bad to my peers and leaders. I learned to become more of a proactive listener and limit my multitasking brain to focus on the be where you are mindset. I learned that common sense is rarely common practice in business, right? 6 months later, they did exactly what I said we should be doing at that point. But I learned that communication, collaboration, and teamwork are the keys of building a solid foundation in business and a top-notch team. And I didn't have that, right? So that moment, I just want to give you the setup. That moment, Shay, was the catalyst that propelled me forward in my career because I wasn't happy. I was frustrated. I worked too many hours with no return. Um, Underappreciated, had no life, no kind of work-life balance. I was burned out, and it wasn't living my true north. It was just a job. I was just doing a job. So I needed to change. So I started looking internally because we have a huge organization, right? So I found a role at AWS. And I joined AWS in the executive recruiting team. It was a perfect match for my skill, and it kind of leads me to my January 1st moment that happened after I joined this team. So I started a new role, and I was really blessed. My manager at the time, Genji Pineda Wong, she lived in Honolulu, Hawaii. Best leader and most supportive leader I've ever met in my life, in my entire career. And Genji encouraged me to use my strengths and follow my passions. So shortly after joining that team back in early 21, I joined the Striving to be Earth's Best Employer team and co-led employee engagement efforts, globally, where I was tasked with creating new innovative ways to engage a virtual and global team, so different cultures, different minds. I created this thing called Monday Motivation Moment, where I just created an email around a topic and sent it out to the global team every Monday. And I had more positive comments on that one item alone than anything else I did. But I also had origin stories, people telling their 10-minute story on where they started in their career, all the way up to what they do today and how they can work together. I also built and spearheaded the AWS effectiveness team, driving timely recognition and continuous improvement efforts, both which were missing prior to that team being started. So what that really did was let me to discover my true north, my passion for driving a retention-focused culture, helping others achieve their professional goals, driving and improving performance, and attracting and retaining top talent. So when my position was just eliminated in June of this year in 23, I started up Performance Mindset Associates, so I call it PMA, to drive the positivity, the performance, the awareness to business leaders, to equip everyone and others with their methods to attract top talent, to retain top talent, to drive their next level performance. So the January 1st mindset is very similar to my TGIM attitude, and I love that. So great synergies there. And then my 5 takeaways kind of ends this story. And I think this is what your listeners can really benefit from. So after having that have backbone, disagree, and commit moment, realizing my leadership wasn't supportive of my visions and what I wanted to be, I proactively made a change to a team that was like-minded professionals that were collaborative, engaging, and very intelligent. My 5 takeaways are: be where you are. Practice that be where you are mindset wherever you are, whether you're a dad, uncle, sister, mom, cousin, co-worker, leader, boss, individual contributor, whatever you are, be where you are. Number 2 is listen proactively. So be engaged in the conversation like Shay and I are doing now. He's asking questions, I'm answering, we're going back and forth, but we're actively engaged. We're listening to each other and having a conversation. Number 3 is be open to different points of view, right? Your way is not always the best. And if you work for somebody as a micromanager, or they say my way or the highway, or this is how we've always done it, run, don't walk, okay? Number 4 is share only what's necessary, right? A little more close to the vest. You don't have to give all the TMI, too much information out. And then finally, stand up for your passion. If you're passionate about it, have data to back it up. Be respectful of people's time, but stand up for your passion.
I love it, man. Thanks a lot for sharing that with us and giving us the whole history and our 5 takeaways. We don't even have to work hard. This is pretty cool as we come down the home stretch. There's one burning question I have. They're all burning. I wouldn't ask them, but this is one of my favorite questions to ask, which is, of all the mentors you had, and the question is, what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given? Now, you've had a lot of mentors. You've had a lot of coaches. You've coached, by the way. You've read a lot of books, got your sports. He has the LA folks like right there. He put the hat there, you ladies and gentlemen, so y'all could see he's an LA fan. I mean, you couldn't miss that, by the way. But I'm curious, man.
49ers down.
Go ahead.
No, I just said in 49ers down at the bottom, the little tissue box there. This is my man cave. But if you look down, back over here.
Oh, there you go. We see it.
Your bat and your 49ers. But yeah, so I'm a West Coast fan. But yeah, I love sports. So.
All the way. So my question is, what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given that you would want to share with the audience? And you as the audience, this is the time you get to lean in a little bit, by the way, because he's learned a lot. He's going to just grab one nugget and share it with you that can help you be a better person or way better than you are today.
I want to ask permission, Shay, if I can just give you 5 quick ones. And these are from my mom. I call her the Angel Gloria, or Bob.
Well, it's your mom. Am I supposed to say no to mom? I mean, how can I say no to mom? You can, absolutely. Yeah. Go right ahead.
Well, the reason why these are important is because I use these in my daily life, right? So number 1, it's okay to say no. Protect your time. It's okay to say no. You don't have to be everything to everyone. Focus on what you're focused on and say no when you need to. Number 2, the mindset of this too shall pass. When you're successful and on top of the mountain, great, but it'll pass. When you're down in the valleys, it's not going to last forever. So this too shall pass. Keep that mindset going because it'll get you through the tough times as well. Number 3 is let people be different. And I love this because it brings that inclusionary, diverse mindset where you let people be different and you accept them for who they are. You don't judge them. Number 4 is don't worry about things out of your control. You don't control the weather, the stock market, the traffic patterns in your area. Plan for them, but don't worry about them, right? Don't worry about things out of your control. Just be accepting and control the things you control. And the final one is probably my favorite. Don't sweat the small stuff. And guess what, Shay? Everything's small stuff. So if you're not going to remember it a week, a year from now, it's small stuff. So stop stressing, stop worrying, stop blaming others, take accountability, and rock on.
I love it, man. Your mom gave some great pieces of wisdom. As we close out now, 2-part question. Number 1, what type of clients are you looking to work with these days? And number 2, how can folks best connect with you so they can stay in this conversation over and beyond the time that they've had with us today?
Yeah, so I think, clients, any organization that's looking to discover what their team is really thinking, meaning their real culture, how to enhance that culture and build a retention plan going forward, PMA can help. We perform a full diagnostic and a confidential 360 review process to identify any risks, and we work together to close any gaps to help you grow and prosper in 24 and beyond. And our analysis and process takes 2 to 3 weeks versus larger consulting firms that take 2 to 3 months to get the same result and at a far lower cost. So that human capital consulting, we partner with a company called Aspire Performance Improvement Limited over in the UK, and we can do CXO diagnostics. So that's CFO, CEO, COO, CIO, CMO. There's 21 different models that we can do specific for your organization. Workforce strategy and workplace strategy, so people, process, and locations for now or future growth. Business partner diagnostics, so operational resilience, ethics, digital and AI diagnostics. Then we also do M&A series strategies, so due diligence, and divestment planning, portfolio assessment, exit readiness, those kind of human capital terms. Project approach, so we define your action plan scope, we plan, we investigate, we recommend, and we execute based on your direction, based on our recommendations. And then always remember this, Shay, prescription before diagnosis is malpractice, right? So you want to make sure that you're diagnosing first, right? I mentioned Mastermind Mentoring Forum Clubs that I'm working with. So if you want to join those, they're on my website at performancemindset.co. I'm really proficient, by the way, at preparing candidates for interviews. I've done over 3,500 preps in my career, placed over $5.2 million of service fees in my executive search career. So if you want to perfect your interviewing skills, you got to realize that you may have the ability to do the job, but you do not have the interview skills to get the offer. So without an offer, you'll never know how good you could have been. So I can help you there. And lastly, if you need a motivational speaker, a keynote speaker, somebody that can facilitate a performance development workshop or create that workshop for you to drive skills, performance, awareness, building team, and taking attitudes to new heights, get in touch. So I've got a YouTube channel that's under Performance Mindset Associates. You can find PMA on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And with my daughter's help, now this is not immediate, but probably in the next month or two, TikTok may be a possibility because I'm going to add what's called Positivity Pause series. So it's just going to be quick motivational ideas around being positive in your life. And you can send an email to Mark, M-A-R-K, at performancemindset.co or info@performancemindset.co if you want to just learn about our programs or consulting opportunities. Also, every Friday I put out a Feel Good Friday message on my LinkedIn under Mark Krajnik. So you can, join me in my LinkedIn community and if you want.
Well, let me first say thanks a lot, Mark, for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show, man. We appreciate it.
Namaste. Thank you, Shay.
And thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, because without you, there is no show. So we appreciate every like, we appreciate every follow, appreciate you sharing this and paying this message forward so we can all make this world just a much better place than it is today. I never get tired of sharing every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that you, as you're watching now, you're already awesome. You're already incredible, that you already have so much greatness inside you. Not only do you have so much greatness inside you, but you're doing some good stuff in the world. And I believe for you that today, indeed, no matter what's going on, today is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason alone, your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name hasn't changed. It's still Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you, from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things out. We connect again next time. God bless. Wish you success. Peace. Thanks a lot, Mark. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.